your profession?
I'm a CPA by profession. I spent most of my life in the hospital administration field.
Very good.
Yeah, you mentioned too that we have one of our questions would be, how did your wartime experience affect your life? I know you alluded to that just a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you expand how did it actually affect your life, that experience?
Well, I think you sort of focus. You're more focused. You know, when I see kids today that. And some of my own kids, it took them a while to get through school. They didn't know what they were going to do and hadn't found themselves. Well, when I got out, my job, if I'm going to get a 4-year degree, I want to get it in 3.5 years. You know, I want to get on with it. And a lot of the guys that went to school with me were the same way. They were. You know, they knew what they wanted to do. They had a clear-cut goal in mind. They weren't just trying to find themselves.
You didn't have time to think about finding yourself. And have you, do you have friendships from that time that exist now, or do you keep in touch with people that?
Yeah, I first, about 8 or 9 years ago, I became aware, I don't know whether it was one of the veterans magazines or something, I saw where there was a reunion of our regiment. And we had never, you know, all those years had no contact with each other. And I called the fellow who was listed in there, a man from Wisconsin, and he was hosting the reunion that year. And so my wife and I decided to go, and we drove up to Ludington and
took the ferry across.
Took the ferry across, and we're sitting on the ferry, and there's another guy and his wife were sitting over at another table, and he kept staring at me and staring at me. Finally, he got over and came over and he said, "Are you Bob Jarvis?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm Whitey Dahlstead." Come to find out, I went to high school with Whitey, and Whitey was in my company in the Pacific, and he'd never been to a reunion either. It was his first one. So then we went up to that one, and then we had a couple more, and then it got harder to get somebody to volunteer to do it the next time, so I volunteered one time, and then three of my daughters thought that was a great idea, so now it's their thing, so they do it.
So how many kids did you have?
10.
10.
And so are you still having your reunions?
Oh yes,
Uh-huh.
yeah, we're having one in Chicago in September.
Oh, very good. Is there anything that you would like to add about what you didn't cover? It was very interesting. Your time in the service was very interesting.
Yeah.
The whole interview was interesting.
Well, I think. You know, I was really surprised at how ill prepared we were for amphibious warfare. I know when you really think about it's probably the most dangerous kind of an operation you can have, because the first guy across the beach, if he's under fire, everybody can shoot at one guy, you know, and so it's important that you be able to get enough in there quick and we just had or nobody else did either. The last amphibious operation probably was Gallipoli in World War I, and that